You know that feeling when someone looks at you and it's like they can read every awkward thought you've ever had? Yeah, let's kill that feeling for good. Let's get real. Feeling nervous around certain people is universal. But here's the catch. It isn't because you're weak. It isn't because you're shy. It's because your brain has learned to overreact in certain social situations. That's all. Nothing more. Think about it like this. Your mind is like a security camera on overdrive. For some reason, it sees a threat where there is none, and suddenly you're sweating, your heart's racing, and your mouth forgets the English language, even if your brain knows you're fine. Here's the first actionable trick. Name the feeling. Not just I'm nervous, but something precise like I feel jittery because I want their approval. Giving your feelings a label immediately reduces their power. Science calls this affect labeling, but I call it naming the spaghetti. When you label it, your mind starts to calm down like, oh, it's just a noodle moment. Cool, I've seen this before. Now, let's talk about perspective. Most nervousness comes from overestimating the stakes. You see, we all assume other people are hyper-focused on our mistakes. But here's the truth. They're mostly thinking about themselves. Even someone like Oprah Winfrey, yes, queen of interviews, has admitted she used to sweat before speaking to big audiences. She once said her nerves never completely went away, but she learned to channel them. That's the key. You don't need to vanish the nerves. You need to ride the energy. Here's a simple visual for your brain. Imagine nerves like tiny, annoying puppies bouncing around your chest. You can't make them disappear instantly. But you can teach them a trick. One of my favorite techniques is breath anchoring. Breathe in for 4, hold for 4, exhale for 6. Simple. Do it 3 times, and suddenly those puppies are sitting politely instead of chewing your shoes. Next, let's get physical. Ever notice how posture changes your mental state? Stand tall, shoulders back, chest open. It's not just about looking confident. It forces your brain to act confident. Stick figure animation tip. Just picture a tiny Joe standing like a superhero. That energy is contagious to your mind. Here's a mental game I use with friends. Call it mental rehearsal in 30 seconds. Before a meeting, conversation, or presentation, close your eyes and picture yourself talking calmly. Visualize the interaction going well. Not perfectly, just fine. Your brain is terrible at distinguishing real from imagined experiences. If you imagine success, your brain starts believing it's normal. Sometimes, nervousness is about unknowns. The more uncertain the situation, the more your mind inflates it. So, prep, but not over-prep. Jot down the main points. Practice them silently. Then forget them. Yes, actually forget. Relying on memory under pressure is overrated. Focus instead on curiosity. Be interested in the other person rather than performing. Here's a subtle international joke you can relate to. Nervousness is like waving to someone you know in Italy. You think you're saying hello, but your hands are doing the salsa. Totally unnecessary, but we all do it. Awareness alone cuts that energy. Now, let's tackle the comparison trap. Some people make you nervous because they trigger your insecurities. Maybe they're more charismatic, richer, smarter, whatever. But here's the secret. Everyone struggles with something. Even Elon Musk, in private moments, admits he second-guesses himself constantly. Genius doesn't erase human fear. It just teaches you to move through it. Which brings me to mental stillness. I know, it sounds like meditation fluff, but it isn't. Mental stillness is noticing your thoughts without grabbing them. When you feel nervous around someone, pause. Observe the sensation, note it, and let it pass. Think of it like a cloud drifting across the sky. You don't fight the cloud, you just watch it. This is something I explore in small exercises in Wise Joe ebooks, and it works like magic if practiced daily. Here's a fun visual trick. Create a confidence ritual. 3 deep breaths, 2 stretches, and a smile, even if forced. Your body sends signals to your brain, hey, we're okay here. Soon, your mind stops convincing you you're auditioning for a survival reality show every time you talk to someone. Next, let's talk language of the mind. Nervous people tend to sabotage themselves with phrases like, I can't do this, or they'll judge me. Catch those thoughts and reframe. Try something like, I'm interested in this conversation, or I'm here to learn, not impress. Small linguistic tweaks change how your brain interprets the environment. Remember, nerves aren't always a problem. They're raw energy waiting for direction. Michael Jordan, yes, that Jordan, famously said, his early career jitters before games were overwhelming. But instead of running from the nerves, he practiced so much that the nerves became fuel. Nervousness is neutral. It's your approach that makes it terrifying or useful. Here's a sticky practical tip. Desensitization. Regularly expose yourself to the people who make you nervous. Start small, say hello, ask a short question, share a joke. Then slowly increase the complexity. The mind learns through repeated exposure. Anxiety drops naturally. Think of it like learning to swim in the shallow end before jumping into the deep pool. Social skills are muscle memory. Nervousness is like rust. You just haven't exercised those muscles enough with certain people. Keep showing up. Keep interacting. Each successful small interaction is a tiny victory that builds a shield of calmness. Another big point. Don't overthink reactions. We obsess over what to say next, but conversation is fluid. Even pros stumble. Stick figure animation moment. Imagine someone literally stepping on your foot mid-conversation. You smile, recover, joke. Boom, human, relatable, charming. Nobody judges as harshly as you think. Sometimes nervousness is identity-based. You think, this person is important, I'm less than. Flip that. Your presence is unique, your story matters, and anyone worth interacting with respects that. Steve Jobs, despite revolutionary ideas, reportedly had moments of fear before presentations. But he leaned into his own identity, trusted his mind, and owned the room. Here's a simple daily habit. Reflection journaling. At the end of the day, write down interactions that triggered nerves. What happened? How did you respond? Then, write one thing you could try differently tomorrow. This doesn't need to be long. One word can capture it. Over time, you'll see patterns, and those spaghetti noodle moments shrink naturally. And don't forget humor. Nervousness loses power when you laugh at it. Share a joke with yourself mentally. Wow, my brain is really turning into a disco of panic. Nice move. Neurons. Lightening the emotional load makes it easier to engage with confidence. Lastly, be patient. This isn't about overnight transformation. The mind is like a garden. Nervousness is a few weeds. You water the plants of calm, expose them to sunlight of exposure, and gradually the weeds shrink. No rush. Celebrate small wins. Every time you speak to that person without spiraling, mark it internally. These are the real trophies. So, to summarize, name the feeling, label it, reframe the stakes. Most people are focused on themselves. Breathe, anchor, and use posture. Small physical tweaks change everything. Visualize success, then let go. Use curiosity over performance. Focus on them, not your ego. Practice desensitization. Start small, gradually increase exposure. Reframe internal language. Words matter. Laugh. Make nervousness a joke, not a judge. Reflect daily and note patterns. Journaling builds insight. Trust that everyone has moments of fear. You're not alone. This is how you stop letting someone else's presence hijack your mind. And over time, that nervousness melts into calm, controlled energy. The kind of energy that makes people naturally drawn to you without even trying. I'd love for you to think about this. What's the one word that describes how you feel the next time you notice nerves creeping in? Keep it in your mind. It's tiny, but it's powerful. And if you want to go deeper, some of these exercises are expanded in the Wise Joe ebooks, where we break down mental stillness, energy management, and confidence into daily, practical steps you can apply immediately. Not heavy theory, just tools that work. The takeaway? Nervousness is natural, but being nervous doesn't have to control you. You can be calm, composed, and genuinely yourself around anyone, even the people who used to make your stomach do the salsa.